The bend in the river looked stable. From a distance, it always did. The curve widened slightly here, slowing the current, letting silt settle along the inside edge. Grass grew thick on the bank. The surface appeared firm, layered, undisturbed. That was why animals used it. That was why people did too. The elephant reached the bend in late afternoon, when the heat still pressed down but the light had begun to soften. It moved slowly, deliberately, each step placed with awareness born of mass. Its body was large enough that nothing around it could be ignored. The ground felt different here, not weak, elastic. The elephant stopped several steps back from the water and tested the bank with one forefoot. The surface compressed slightly, then held. Fine cracks formed beneath the grass and disappeared again as weight shifted away. The elephant waited. Waiting mattered at river bends. Water rearranged ground continuously, but not visibly. What looked solid could be temporary. What felt firm could still be moving. The elephant stepped forward. The bank responded again, compressing, settling, holding. No sudden collapse. No sound. Just a slow acceptance of weight. The elephant lowered its head and drank. Water pulled gently at the edge, undermining soil beneath the visible surface. Roots held the top layer together, disguising erosion below. The river did not rush here, it worked quietly. The elephant finished drinking and stood still. This was not indecision. This was listening. Vibration travelled differently near water. The elephant felt it through its feet, a faint shift, a subtle redistribution beneath the surface. The bank was changing shape, not breaking, just adjusting. The elephant did not step back immediately. It shifted its weight instead. That was enough. The bank slid. Not suddenly, not loudly. The grass sagged. The top layer moved as a sheet, slipping a short distance toward the water. Mud did not splash. The river did not react dramatically. Only the edge lowered. The elephant reacted instantly, not by panic, but by balance. Its rear legs drove backward, its front legs lifted, pulling mass away from the sliding surface. Soil gave way silently, folding into the water without resistance. The elephant stepped back onto a firmer ground. Behind it, the river bend looked unchanged again. The slide had been small, the loss subtle. From above, it would be invisible. Only the elephant knew that the bank had already failed once. It stood and watched. The water carried the fallen soil away immediately. The edge reshaped itself, now slightly farther back, still appearing solid, still grassed, still inviting. The elephant did not return to drink. Instead, it moved upstream a short distance to where stones broke the bank and roots anchored deeper into older ground. There, it drank again, standing half in water, half on rock. From this position, it could see the bend clearly. Later, a man approached. He walked along the riverbank, barefoot, carrying a container. He chose the bend instinctively, drawn by the wide curve and calm surface. He did not notice the subtle change in grass alignment, the slight fresh line where the bank had shifted. He stepped closer to the edge. The elephant watched from upstream. The man crouched and reached toward the water. The bank held. For now. The elephant remained still. The man filled his container quickly and stood. His weight redistributed suddenly. The surface beneath his feet compressed more than it had under the elephant, not because he was heavier, but because the ground had already moved once. The bank slid again. This time, the movement was more noticeable. The man stumbled forward, catching himself, feet sinking briefly before he scrambled back. Water splashed softly. Mud coated his ankles. He retreated, breathing hard. The elephant did not move. The man looked upstream and saw it. For a moment, neither reacted. The man understood without explanation. He backed away from the bend and walked farther along the river, choosing a narrower point where stones broke the line of grass. The elephant stayed where it was. The bend would continue to look safe. It would continue to accept weight until it did not. The failure would always be quiet, always incremental. The elephant turned and moved on, leaving the river entirely for higher ground. It had learned what it needed. Not all danger announced itself with noise. Some ground failed by agreeing too easily at first. The river bend remained behind, unchanged to the eye, altered beneath the surface, waiting for the next weight to arrive without listening first. The river bend did not recover overnight. It never did. Water continued its work long after the elephant had moved on, sliding beneath the visible edge, loosening soil where roots could no longer hold firmly. What had slipped once would slip again, not dramatically, but predictably. By morning, the bend looked unchanged. Grass still covered the edge. The curve still widened gently. The surface still invited approach. Only the alignment of stems had shifted slightly, leaning toward the water in a way that suggested motion without direction. Animals arrived early. Antelope approached first, drawn by the calm water and easy footing. They slowed at the edge, testing with light steps, shifting weight back and forth. The bank compressed and held. No sound, no splash. They drank quickly and moved away. The ground adjusted beneath them, settling into a new position without collapsing. Each visit redistributed weight, pressing soil closer to the water, thinning support beneath the grass mat. The bank remembered. Later, cattle were brought down by people. Hooves struck harder than antelope feet, concentrated in narrow points. The bank responded more noticeably now. Small sections sagged, then stopped. Mud did not rise, water barely stirred. The people noticed only the ease of access. One man stepped closer than the others, placing his foot where grass looked thickest. It held long enough for him to trust it. When he shifted his weight, the edge slid again. Just a little. Enough. He stepped back quickly, heart rate rising, surprise turning into caution. He did not fall. He did not shout. He simply changed where he stood. The others followed without comment. The bend began to alter routes. Animals approached more cautiously now, lingering longer before stepping down. Some chose to drink upstream or downstream instead, where stones broke the bank and water flowed faster. The elephant did not return. It did not need to. Its absence mattered less than the knowledge it carried forward. The bend had shown itself. Once ground admitted movement under weight, it would never again be fully trusted by those who listened. By afternoon, the river carried away more soil invisibly. The edge settled lower. Roots stretched, some snapping quietly beneath the surface. Grass continued to mask change, hiding instability behind familiarity. A boy came alone near dusk, following the same instinct as the man before him. He stopped short of the edge and watched the water, sensing something wrong without knowing why. He tossed a stone. It disappeared without sound. That was enough. He backed away. The bend did not collapse that day. It did not need to. It had already shifted behavior. Each quiet slide reduced confidence, widened avoidance, nudged movement elsewhere. This was how banks failed most effectively, not by breaking suddenly, but by teaching restraint one step at a time. As evening came, light softened again, and the river bend looked calm, unchanged, safe. But those who had felt the ground move knew better. The bank did not need to fall to be dangerous. It only needed to agree once, and remember. The river continued flowing, carrying soil grain by grain, reshaping the bend silently, waiting for the next weight to arrive without listening. The bend stopped being used before it stopped existing. That was the important distinction. By the third morning, no obvious collapse had occurred. The river still curved gently. The grass still held together in a continuous mat. From a distance, the bank looked exactly as it always had. But movement no longer went there by default. Animals approaching the river slowed earlier now, lifting heads sooner, testing ground from farther back. Hooves traced hesitant arcs instead of straight lines. Drinking happened quickly and farther upstream, where stones broke the bank and the water spoke more clearly. The bend had lost confidence. People noticed without discussion. Those who came with livestock angled away naturally, choosing narrower points where footing required more care but returned certainty. They did not warn each other loudly. They simply did not step where the grass leaned too evenly toward the water. The river bend had become a place that required explanation. Places like that were avoided. By mid-morning, a group of men stopped near the bend but did not approach it. They stood in shade, talking quietly, watching cattle drink elsewhere. One of them pointed at the grass line, not dramatically, just enough to mark it. "It moved," he said. No one asked when. The statement was complete on its own. Later, a woman arrived with containers and paused longer than usual before choosing where to step. She tested the ground with the toe of her foot and felt the softness beneath the mat of roots. She stepped back without filling anything and walked farther along the bank. The bend lost another use. Nothing dramatic followed. No one slipped badly. No animal was taken by the river. There was no story to tell, no warning to pass on urgently. The change was quieter than that. The bend was simply no longer chosen. That afternoon, the elephant passed near the river again, moving on higher ground where trees broke wind and soil sat older and deeper. It did not look toward the bend. It did not need to. The elephant had learned the condition of the place once. That knowledge did not fade. It did not require confirmation. Below, the river continued to undercut the bank gently, patiently. Water slipped beneath the grass mat and pulled soil away grain by grain. Roots stretched and thinned. Some broke without sound. The edge retreated another small distance. Still no collapse. Still no splash. By evening, the bend looked almost peaceful. Light softened it. Reflections hid irregularities. The water surface lay calm and wide, but nothing approached it directly. The bend had ceased to function as access. It had become a boundary. This was how landscapes changed most reliably, not through catastrophe, but through loss of trust. A place did not need to fail loudly to be removed from use. It only needed to fail once, quietly, under enough weight to be felt. The river bend would continue to exist for years. It would look usable long after it stopped being used. Grass would regrow. The curve would remain inviting to the eye, but movement would not return easily, because ground that slid without warning once was never fully believed again. The lesson settled fully. Danger did not always arrive as force. Sometimes it arrived as agreement that went too far. The elephant moved on with the season. The people adjusted their paths. The animals followed. And the river bend remained, unchanged in shape, altered in meaning, quietly set aside by everything that had learned to listen beneath the surface.